Buy this toy and remain healthy, yes?
Hello and welcome. Right, now, looks as though I've got another world first for you. Yes, bought a toy yesterday from Kapow, and it's a figure from Mastermind Creations, their Reformatted line, and it's a bit of a cult figure, a bit of a cult character from the Marvel G1 days. And can you guess who it is? Yes. So which character was introduced with this story? Wanted Galvatron, dead or alive? None other than Death's Head. The freelance peacekeeping agent for financial reward who popped into Transformers Marvel UK issue 113, where he found out about the bounty that had been put on Galvatron's head, was making inquiries about it, and then set about hunting him down. And this started this character on his journey through the comic universe. Now, he was originally created by Simon Furman and Jeff Sr. And more recently, there's been a Marvel Infinite character that's come out of the guy. That's this one. See, Marvel's Death's Head, and I've got it signed by Jeff and Simon. But this isn't the version of Death's Head that us older Transformer aficionados know about, because this is what's referred to as Death's Head 2. Because Death's Head originally started out in the Transformers comic, but then he was in it for about a year or so, through a number of different storylines, and after that he sort of disappeared and went off and did his own thing, and that's how he became Death's Head 2. I don't really want to go into Death's Head's history because I only want to concentrate on his, sort of Marvel G1 Transformers continuity, or Death's Head G1, I suppose you could call it. Somebody did write a sort of like a origin story for Death's Head leading up to his inclusion in Transformers, but in reality he originally appeared in the Marvel G1. So, Mastermind Creations do this thing called Reformatted, where they design a figure, and then they get they make a mould, they create a character, a homage to a particular Transformers character, and then they reuse the mould, they repaint it and remould it slightly to create another character, and that's the whole essence of the Reformatted line. So, obviously, they recently bought out their R-15, Reformatted R-15 Jaegertron, which was their IDW version of Lockdown. And using that mould, they've repainted it and repurposed it into this. Now, I'm starting off in the plain mode because, well, let's face it, you're not going to buy this for the plain mode, let's be honest. Actually, no, before we start doing this, let's have a look at the box, because the box is worthy of a mention. Here's the box. There's a very nice picture of Anubis, as he's called. There you go, R-18 Anubis. I love the bit where it says freelance peacekeeper at the bottom. And you look around and there's loads of pictures of his various modes and poses. But it comes with a comic. Now, obviously, he started out his life in the Marvel G1 comics, and there's a comic inside, and it's absolutely fantastic because it just, okay, it's up-to-date artwork, you know, high-end, you know, really posh art, but they've really captured the essence of what Death's Head was in the Marvel G1 comic. And he's basically chasing down Jaegertron, and they have a bit of a fight. And, you know, Anubis gets the better of Jaegertron, and he takes him back to Kultor, who is the guy who paid the bounty. And then right at the very end, you know, Jaegertron comes to life and points a gun at Kultor's head, so, you know, kind of double crosses him. But in the process of this fight, his you know, body gets smashed up, so he goes back to the dealer and says, "I need a new body," and of course there's his original G1 body on the shelf. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic comic. Awesome. Love the comic. Now, it does come with a number of accessories. You get the manual. You get a bio card made out of plastic. It's got a nice picture on the front, and on the back he's got his tech spec information: strength of a 7, intelligence of a 9, speed of a 6, endurance of a 10, caste or rank of a 4, courage of a 10, firepower 8, skill of a 10. So he's pretty hard, as we all know. And he comes with his accessories, his weapons. And Death's Head, as we know, was, you know, he'd take his hand off and stick on an axe or a mace or a gun or a rocket launcher. He was into accessorizing. And you get this little rack that has his some of his signature weapons. You've got the mace, you've got the missile launcher, you've got his axe, and you've got another spiky thing. Now, the only thing I don't like about these is these weapons comes with these extra sort of like handle ports on, and I'm not sure about that. Obviously it's so he can hold them in hand, but why can't he just grip them on the shaft? Why couldn't they just made the shafts a little longer and grip them on the shaft? He also comes with a chainsaw attachment, which I suppose could also be used as a kind of a sword, and his gun. Now, this is a good representation of his gun, original gun from the G1 comics. It's a little bit shorter. His original gun had a bit of a stock on it that, you know, sort of made it look a bit longer. It also had a sight on the top, but it's got the barrel on the end. I mean, let's see if we can find a picture of it in this comic. Right, look, there's a picture of it there. Look, see. And if you look, it's pretty close. The only thing is, in the comic, it was painted like a darker shade of green, but they've done the gold barrel at the end. Could have done with painted it in a darker shade of green to the green of his body, and then that would have been absolutely bob on. So that's the accessories. So let's talk about the ship. So here's the ship. It's a kind of like a space jet interceptor type thing. Now, this is one of my gripes I've got with this toy. And it's a minor gripe. In the comics, in the G1 comics, Death's Head was not a Transformer. He wasn't a Cybertronian. He was just a giant mechanoid, or, you know, cyborg. And he went around doing his jobs for various people who paid him, you know, money. And he was big and he was hard, but he wasn't a Transformer. Now, this transforms into this space jet. Yeah. In the comic that comes with it, they kind of blend in the fact that he's a Transformer, and then at the end you see he's swapping out. Well, he's potentially going to swap out to another body, which would have been a monoform. So, yeah, there is that. So they kind of get around that. But yeah, that's one of the little gripes I have about this guy. Anyway, space jet. It's got quite a wingspan, very, very long sort of cannons on the front. Underneath, you've got his shield, which clips underneath and could be sort of like a sensor or a radome or something. And then he's got these engines on the back. It's got these wings that are slightly adjustable, and it's a good enough looking spaceship. You know, a nice, mean looking space interceptor. And if Death's Head was a transformer, then he would probably have an alt mode, something like this. Now, transforming this guy, I have only transformed it once out of robot mode into thingy mode. I had a bit of trouble trying to plug a few things in because there's some of the clearance issues. Well, I wouldn't say clearance issues, but some of these, especially the arms, you have to arrange them in such a way else they won't fold together properly. They want to spring apart, and then there's some pegs in the top which getting them aligned was a bit of an issue, and also plugging the feet in here was quite a stretch to get the double knees clicked into place. So transformation, take off that. I think we'll start now. When you take the thing off, I mean, there's his head. Now what I do, because his head's on a funny joint and it doesn't really tuck away, when I'm putting this on, you sort of hook it around his tusks and then clip it into place, because it doesn't actually cover it all up properly. So like that. Then this cockpit piece needs to be lifted up. Now it's on a very, very tiny little peg which goes into a little tiny hole there, and it barely grabs on. So you angle that bit and pull it up, and then you can unclip the feet, and then pull his legs around, unpeg them, fold the wings back, and you've got these bits there, and then you're getting somewhere. Now you've got his wing pack. It's clipped into the arms, so you unclip that. You concertina it round, and then it has to fold up like so. And then it kind of pegs into his back like that. Then you've got to feed this thing through this gap. So the best thing to do is to take this piece here and fold it up like that. That gives you enough clearance to slide the backpack through. And that kind of makes his signature cape. You then take these bits and then fold them back like so. Then you've got the arms which are on these sort of cam joints, so they go up and they've got like a nub in there and a bobble there which sort of holds into place. When I say sort of, it's and that's got that. And then the arms, pop them out of there, straighten them, spin them round, and then you can flip out the fists. And obviously I'll do this one again. A lot of fumbling going on. And the hand, you can open both panels on both sides and then push the hand round and then clip it in. And you take your thing and plug it in the back. Now you've got his weapons on this little plastic thing, and there is a place for it to plug into his back. There's some tags there and there, and it just goes in. And then you can put the thing back on. And we're pretty much there. And there we go. There he is, Anubis in his robot mode. And I've been looking at this compared to the, how he appeared in the Marvel G1 comic, and even though they've reused the Jaegertron mould, they've done a good job of adapting it to suit, the look of Death's Head. You look at the colours. For instance, his forearms are in this sort of like tanny brown colour, and so are his hands, and he's got red claws. In the Marvel G1, he had like leather gauntlets with gloves with sort of like red tips to the fingers and like red knuckle dusters on. They haven't painted the knuckle duster spikes in red, but you can do that with a bit of paint yourself. The legs, they've got the silver bits here and the green. He has got silver toes down here. In the thingy, his feet were all green, but that's neither here nor there. He did have some knee guards that kind of came up the side of his legs, and they were like a reddish browny colour, so they've got these red things here. The waist, you've got the sort of the chest armour coming down the sides, and then you've got almost like he's got like a breast plate underneath, which they've moulded, which is good. He's got this recess in his abs, this round recess. Now the shoulders, he had kind of like armoured pauldrons on his shoulders, which were just had like edging round them, and they've kind of got that here with some extra spikes. And then they've got the signature head with the tusks either side of the lower jaw, red spikes sticking out at the top, a skull-like head with a big toothy frown. I think they've done a really, really good job of repurposing this mould into a Death's Head. Obviously his accessories he can use, he can hold his gun. He did do a lot of double handing with the gun in the comic. He can more or less do that with the joints he's got. You have to sort of fiddle around with it quite a lot to get him to hold the gun with both hands. The other handle, the front handle, it's got these ridges on it which won't quite go through the hand. Now he has his accessories. Now they've got, like I said, they've got that thing on there, and I don't know why, because I'm trying to fit it in his hand and it doesn't want to go. The idea is that you take one of his fists off, they're on like a little round peg, and then you plug the weapon in. And there he has with his mace, which is one of his personal favourites. It's okay, very tight, especially getting them into the backpack, into the thing. Very, very, very tight. I reckon you'd have to be careful when you're pushing them in. You might even have to take the piece of plastic they sit in off and then put them in afterwards. Else, you might break something. I don't know. So you can have his mace. He has the. You can see this is very, very tight. There we go. And you can have his chainsaw. You can use it like a sword. And then, where do you put the hand? He hasn't got anywhere to put the weapons in, in spaceship mode. Jaegertron came with the trophy cabinet, which went on the back like a trailer in his jet mode, and then you opened out to form a trophy cabinet. It had all the TFcon G1 style heads in there and places to hang all his weapons. This guy doesn't come with that. Go through the articulation quickly. the arm can move out to there. It can't go much further back because it hits this thing on the backpack. Yeah, it's... So getting his arm to go up, that's probably why he's got double elbows. So because it hits the backpack, this shoulder pauldron. So that's a bit of a pain. He's got double elbows, so he can get his elbows right up. There is that joint there. It has got a fairly stiff ratchet on it, so I've not had any trouble when I've been moving the arm with it becoming unpegged, but it might be an issue. The head joint is really weird. It comes off ever so easy. It's got like a straight peg on it, and then the piece it sits on is angled forwards. Now that does mean that you can get some really good sort of sideways posing, you know, sort of angled head posing, but it doesn't go up very far and it doesn't come down very far, so it's very limited. This piece is on a separate ball joint which is set into his neck, and it does pop out. Now you can turn it round and get him looking up. Yeah, it's not the best, but you know, what you gain in, you know, sideways tilt, you're losing up and down. Moving down, he's got a waist joint. Now I might have to move the backpack out of the way for this. Hips go out to there, go forwards to there, go back to there. He has got double jointed knees as part of his transformation, so he can get his legs all the way back. And the feet go forwards and backwards, and there is a certain amount of tilt on them. So he's okay articulated, not fantastic. He's got a few joints at unusual angles. Double jointed elbows, which he really needs to get his arms up because of the shoulder pieces hitting the backpack. But he's alright. I mean, let's face it, I mean, this is only the second Death's Head toy we've ever got. I mean, you know, there they are. You've got the Marvel figure and this. This is the only one that is in the Marvel G1 colours, so to speak. You know, the colours that he had when he was in Transformers. Obviously, Death's Head as a character went on to do other things. He's owned by Marvel now. They're not really interested in doing anything with him. I mean, this was the last thing that we had anything to do with him. Would be nice if IDW could get some agreement where they could bring Death's Head back into the Transformers comics, you know, as a giant mechanoid just going around, you know, attacking people and just being a complete and utter badass that he is. That'd be nice. I can't see it happening myself, but it's interesting that Mastermind Creation should choose to do this particular character, and obviously somebody there was a huge fan of Death's Head and wanted to do a homage to him. So it's fantastic that he did it. And another thing, this figure apparently was released last weekend at the TFcon in Chicago. It was one of the convention exclusive figures. I bought this from Kapow. I looked on Kapow yesterday and noticed they had him in stock, you know, on a, you know, you could buy him for, what is it, $79.99 plus £3.50 postage, so I jumped at the chance to get hold of him. And of course then when I checked YouTube, yeah, nobody's reviewed it yet, so looks like I've got another world first review. Ain't the best review, other people will do a better job of it than me, so I'm not the world's best reviewer, but he's a great toy, glad I got him. He does capture the look of Death's Head, so if you're looking for a chug scale Death's Head for your shelf, this will fit the bill. Yes, Death's Head wasn't a Transformer. They have, obviously because they've reused the Jaegertron mould, it does take some liberties on this design, but on the whole, I think they've done a good job. It works, and I think he's a great little figure. So that has been my review of Mastermind Creations Reformatted R-18 Anubis. Hope you've enjoyed it. I will catch you all next time. Ta-da.